Hey, welcome to another episode of Ready 2000. I'm here with John.
Hello.
It's been a minute, but we're here finally.
Yo.
Fuck.
Fucking A.
Um, yeah.
It's been a
So
minute for us. Yeah, that's for sure. It's been a minute for us. Yeah.
yeah, and we got some great topics to talk about because we've missed a lot of news. We're gonna start off with
It's
the
been,
most.
give time frame. It's been like 3 months since our last podcast, I would say.
Yeah,
Wait,
3 months.
we're April. Yeah, it's been like 3 months since our last podcast. Our last podcast was the Activision Blizzard King deal with Xbox.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. This is the Silver Surfer being cast in the new Fantastic Four movie, and it's being played by Julia Garner, who's famous off the Ozark show on Netflix.
What? I don't know who she. Anything else she's been in? Cause she, yeah, people say she's amazing. She's really good, but
All I know her from
do
is
you know?
Ozark, but she's been in a lot of other things. Um,
But people do say she's a really good actress, right?
yeah, she's fantastic. So yeah, like it's crazy to me because Silver Surfer is my favorite MCU or Marvel character in general. I'm just disappointed. I just really would love to see the MCU tackle Norrin Rad instead of doing this ultra variant version of Silver Surfer and catching a lot of flack online for defending my love for.
Yeah, they give a little context in case anyone doesn't. Obviously, I know it sounds obvious, but in case some people don't know, Silver Surfer from Marvel Comics is traditionally a man named Norman Rad, but Marvel Studios is now casting a woman to play the Silver Surfer.
But it's important
There's
to
no
also
other.
say that this is an alternate timeline where
Well, that hasn't been confirmed.
it's not been confirmed, but it's
It
very.
takes place in the 70s. Well, that's about it.
There's
So
so much things that that I feel like.
I know what you mean. You can connect the dots. We're in the multiverse saga. If Fantastic Four takes place in the 70s, and it's Silver Surfer in the Fantastic Four movie. So yeah, I know what you mean. There's a little bit of you don't got everyone could take it easy because this isn't the official 616 MCU timeline.
Yeah,
But
and I get it. Like if they're going in alternate reality type of situation with a variant of Silver Surfer, then what's the big deal of changing her into a female? Or you could change Silver Surfer into a monkey, man. It's not about the theme. It's not about the gender swap. Like for me, that's not it. I complained about this because the reason I got on board with the MCU was because I'm a fucking 90s kid. So I grew up with Batman and Robin, fucking the Super Mario Brothers movie, like shit that didn't give a fuck about the source material. They just put movies out to sell toys, you know? And then when we got the MCU, it was like I got billionaire Tony Stark. I got Thor son of Odin. I got fucking 1940s Rogers, like Steve Rogers. Like they gave a fuck about treating the characters who were supposed to be B-listers. That's the thing that the MCU and Kevin Feige love to talk about. It was like, oh, they didn't even want these characters, so we decided, hey, we're gonna fucking make them A-listers. That's
sticking
why
to the source material.
by sticking to the source material, and that's why I got on board. And like I said, it was a great 10 years. It was a great 10 years of that kind of storytelling because they gave a fuck and now when it came to I just remember thinking like, man, I can't wait till they get the rights to Silver Surfer because I would give no other team the rights to do that character because they'll do it justice. And now we're here, and it's man, I have to take an L as a Surfer fan so that they can do some kind of variant storytelling where it's a different character, and I just got to sit back and wait till I guess they eventually bring in Norn Rad. It's man, I just can we just I'm so disappointed because I really just wanted Norn Rad. Give me a faithful
No.
adaptation
I
of.
think you're 100% you're 100% right. It's something where I can understand when it comes to changing the source material when we've done this a lot with a superhero character or with any character, you know. I would understand when they change up Spider-Man, when they change up Batman, if they change up, I don't know, like maybe like Wolverine or something like X-23. I get that because we've seen so many iterations of that, right? We've gotten like one Silver Surfer film with Fantastic Four, Rise of Silver Surfer, and it was an entirely CGI character, voiced by a different actor. You know, what I mean, it
Yeah.
wasn't. It was okay, but he looked like just a chrome guy or something like that. Not
Yeah.
much to his character.
Honestly, I think you maybe had like 15 minutes of screen time.
Yeah, and it's just super one note. when the Silver Surfer could be so much more. And now with the MCU taking care of all the characters, especially the last for the first Infinity Saga, just sticking to the source material so well to see our characters represented exactly how we pictured them in the comics and now on screen. We're like so excited to see them take a different route with the Silver Surfer and then changing it to a woman. Has nothing to do with her being a woman. It's just us being like, that's not what we grew up reading. That's not Norman Rad. I don't care if this sounds like controversial or anything, but I also think it is just pandering. I feel like someone inside Marvel Studios or Disney or someone was probably told, "Hey, why don't we just make it a woman?" And they were like, "Why?" And well, because you know, there's
Yeah.
no reason to it. It was just like, let's just make it a woman, and it feels very much someone just threw that out in a meeting and
Yeah.
was like, "Yeah, oh yeah, totally," because they just wanted brownie points. I'm
It's
like, that is not what you do with Norman Rad, the Silver Surfer. You could do that with like maybe one of their like close colleagues, kind of characters that are with the superhero. You don't do it with the main superhero.
yeah, it just feels very like what a weird move in a moment in time where the MCU is in trouble is the best way I could put it. Like what a crazy risk to take when the audience is moving on from comic book movies. The people who like you and me who read comics and go to the movies and all that stuff to do this kind of like move, it just feels so is the risk worth the reward? This is why, for me, I'm still on board. I just need to know what the fuck the story is because the story could be amazing. I'm all about story.
Yeah.
If the story makes sense, then and I get my Norman Rad later, the official Silver Surfer, then it's whatever. But at the same time, what a weird move. This is the Fantastic Four, and as I know, a lot of people like you, so much discourse online is it's the Fantastic Four. Like they suck. Like why does everyone give a fuck about the Fantastic Four all of a sudden? I'm like, man, they're Marvel's
That's
first
I don't know
family.
about that. I don't know. I don't know who you've been talking about. Fantastic Four is fucking. I would put it next to Hulk and the X Men. Like
But
they are
that's the thing
big
is that people
fellas.
associate the Fantastic Four. These are people I run into online who are like, why do you care so much? It's these people don't know that their perception of the Fantastic Four is Fan Four Stick and Tim Story's Fantastic Four movies that were more comedic and lighter
Yeah.
tone. You know what I'm saying? So to them, it's who care? Who cares? It's just gonna be another comedy that Marvel puts out. When in my perspective, it's this could be the thing that brings Marvel back on the map.
Especially if they treat the Fantastic Four like astronauts and explorers and
Exactly.
who are searching for like science and shit like that instead of we're superheroes in the city kind of thing. They can make this feel so fresh and original. Do you want to get into the because also that happened a couple weeks ago was the casting of the Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we could talk about that. Honestly, 10 out of 10 casting for me. I know people are up in arms about Pedro Pascal playing Mr. Fantastic, but for me, yet again, it's one of those things where I need to see it because like I told you, I don't see Pedro Pascal having that pensive personality that Mr. Fantastic has, where he's always lost in his thoughts. Who knows? Maybe he can pull it off. We don't know. We don't know.
When I first heard of the casting of all of them, I was not on board. I was like, just because I followed so much of the fan casting, but obviously you can't let that. Come on, it's just fan casting. You can't control Hollywood like that. Sometimes we do. Sometimes we're like, yo, Benedict Cumberbatch looks like a good Doctor Strange, and then Marvel's like, really? But that was just me hopped up on fan casting, and this should be that, and Zac Efron as Human Torch. That's all just hearsay. But seeing the whole cast that they got for the Thing and Sue Storm and Johnny Storm, I was like, yeah, they're. I like them. I like those
Oh
actors.
my
I think they
god.
can kill.
I would say the casting so far is at 90 out of 100.
That's why I brought up those three of the Fantastic Four. I am not on board with Pedro Pascal's Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I agree with a lot of people on the internet, and just like everyone else on the internet, who are not so toxic, just the passionate Marvel fans who grew up reading these comics. Pedro Pascal is a phenomenal actor, and we know he can totally like kill it as Mr. Fantastic and make it his own. It's something where we're like, totally, like, it could be your own Mr. Fantastic, whatever. You're phenomenal, it's fine. But we all have to agree this is not what we know as Mr. Fantastic from what we grew up reading as comics. It won't translate exactly how we feel Mr. Fantastic should be from what we read in the comics from the source material to whatever he's gonna do because I don't see Mr. Fantastic in Pedro Pascal. And that's the bummer of it. That's the only thing I'm like, I wanted to see a version of that looks and acts exactly like the one I read in the comics. Looks like we might have a different one, or
I
a one that doesn't look exactly like Mr. Fantastic, I would say.
I don't see that. I don't see the concern for that because I think Pedro Pascal is gonna knock it out the park.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like Reed Richards.
I think he looks like Reed Richards a little bit.
I disagree. I disagree, and that whole pensive thing that you were talking about, I agree with that too.
That's my only
I've
concern
never,
is like
I don't,
how is he
yeah,
going to approach the acting, because he's very charming and I think Mr. Fantastic is
of course.
charming, but then you got fucking people like, oh my god, Joseph Quinn as Human Torch is, I know you haven't seen Stranger Things season 4, but my god, he's so good in that. This guy they
Okay.
introduced in season 4 and quickly became everyone's fan favorite character.
Okay, cool.
He is phenomenal in that show.
That's fantastic. And what's also fantastic is he looks like Johnny Storm. He gets a pass.
Yeah. And then you got, what's his name from The Punisher?
Micro.
Micro. Yeah.
He's playing two MCU characters.
Two MCU characters. Ebon Moss.
Which is not something new. There've been other actors who have done that.
A cousin. My God. The dude from The Bear. Holy shit, bro.
Yeah.
As Ben Grimm.
Wow.
Like motherfucking perfect cast.
And I hear he's like really excited. Like he's like super down to do this.
Yeah.
Like, fantastic.
And then Vanessa
and
Kirby.
a lot of roles he plays is very. Oh, sorry.
And then Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm. I've never seen Vanessa Kirby in anything, unfortunately. This is my first time ever seeing her cast in something that's in my trajectory. But hopefully she's good too.
Same. I haven't seen her in anything either. But from what I hear from her, or from the guy playing Johnny Storm, yeah, they're phenomenal actors. I'm like, great, and they look like the characters I grew up reading. Yeah. That's why I'm still in the camp of fucking John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. He's one I was like, that is such a perfect casting, and they gave it to us, but for fan service.
Yeah,
I would say.
And not to go too deep into this because we just want to move on to the next topic. But I just want to point out that I'm so happy we got John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, because that's proof in the pudding that he was garbage. Next topic.
On to the next one. You piece of shit. You cannot use Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness.
I'm sorry, but I'm so happy.
As evidence of why this character doesn't work. No, that entire movie doesn't work. Not John Krasinski. Like they have him sitting in a chair for 11 seconds and then dies in the fucking 5 seconds.
I can finally go to sleep happy knowing that I was right the entire time. I was like,
you guys. What happens when the MCU gives people like you ammo? It's not great.
Like, he is just so wooden in that. He's like, yeah, Mr. Fantastic. I'm like, congratulations.
Speaking of Marvel and Disney, Disney just put out also the first trailer of Star Wars Acolyte. This is their Acolyte.
Like electrolytes.
It is like electrolytes. It's what's in Brondo. The Star Wars Acolyte and Acolyte, right?
Yeah. The good reference. Forgot about that movie.
Really got you. This is the first time we're stepping into the High Republic saga of Star Wars. This takes place before the prequels. So this is pretty ambitious. I can't wait to see how they do this. And from what I got from this trailer was okay. It was solid. I like it. It looks like Star Wars. Nothing too like earth-shattering. It's a very safe trailer, I would say. The casting, I forgot his name, but the main actor from Squid Games, is in this. He learned English for this role. Fantastic. As a Jedi Master. Fucking awesome.
I have a very controversial opinion in that this trailer did nothing for me. I'm so tired of Jedi ideology. This trailer starts with, "What do you feel?" "I feel balance." He's like talking to a bunch of kids, Jedi Padawans, and the kid's like, "I feel balance. I feel the Force." I'm like, Christ almighty. I am so tired.
There's that one Padawan back. "I see fire."
Yeah, I see fire. I was like, keep going. Yeah, I desperately want them to shift the perspective. If this is supposed to be the first time that they fight with the Sith, why aren't we telling that narrative from the Sith's perspective?
The High Republic takes place in the peak of the Jedi Order.
Yeah, which is fine.
There's a shit ton of Jedis, and there are no Sith. And
yeah, which is fine. It's just I don't care Like it's not that I don't care. It's that I'm tired of it. I've seen it already with the prequels and why the Jedi, the fallacy of being a Jedi, and why it inevitably always fails is because they become too complacent and all that stuff. And this is awesome. I'm not trying to say that this show sucks. Like they got Carrie Ann Moss, fucking the Trinity, bro, as a Jedi. What the fuck?
So cool.
This show's I'm gonna watch it. It's just that,
And
man,
martial arts action.
and martial arts action. It's just, man, I am just thirsting.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But
thirsting for that Sith philosophy.
no, I know what you mean. It definitely feels like they're treading similar ground already. It already feels prequel-esque. I would like to think that they know that, and maybe they'll write a story around maybe the downfall of the Jedi. I know prequels are the downfall of the Jedi, but something like where it's like the original seeds of the Jedi being like, let's start a council and let's follow all these rules and stuff, like the origins of them being boring.
Yeah. You said the origins of them being boring?
Yeah.
This is the thing, is that like it's more fascinating to see where the Sith came from than it is to see the Jedi Order. And I think the reason I'm so against it is because it's Disney and they wouldn't touch the Sith. That's how I feel personally. I just feel like they think this is a story about the good guys always. And then
What?
you get a show like
You don't think,
Andor,
well,
which is supposed to be like the edgier Star Wars, but Andor almost feels in this relationship that is Disney and Marvel. Andor definitely feels like an ugly stepchild. They're like, yeah, you guys can have that over there, but this is true Star Wars over here with Mando and Baby Grogu and lighthearted lightsaber bullshit. It's like, bro, can we like fucking talk about some serious shit here? Like the Sith. This is the origins of the Sith.
but you can still get that, Joe.
Yeah,
We might get that in this trailer.
yeah, no,
There is a red lightsaber in this trailer, so maybe it starts off with some
yes.
Irish.
I read that online somewhere that someone says this trailer doesn't confirm that it's going to take place in the perspective of the Jedi. It could possibly be just the first episode, and the rest is. I think the director or someone was saying that she's more fascinated with the idea of the bad guy. What is Disney going to let her fucking tell that story, or are we going to be like constrained to these Qui-Gon Jinn wooden talks of no, we should probably sit back and come on, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I know, but I don't think they would. I don't think they are. I don't see Disney not letting them do that. I think the story of a Jedi turning into a Sith, of Anakin becoming Darth Vader, was one of the most compelling stories ever, and that's a perspective of someone going to the Sith side. And I don't know. I would like to think that they saw it's Darth fucking Vader. Like I'm pretty sure they saw that and was like, "That's pretty fucking cool," because we know why Anakin went to the dark side and all that stuff. I don't know. I don't think Disney would be like Sith are just bad. Period.
Oh no,
Something tells me they would like.
what I'm trying to get at is that
and or Ahsoka does that with. Oh my god, I forgot their names. Ray Stevenson's character and the girl.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, those two. They felt like they used to be Jedi and now Sith kind of thing.
Yes, but the thing is that you're not understanding where I'm coming from. I don't want Jedi's to be the main focus. I want it to come from like a Sith, like a person, a Jedi. The story is centered around these characters. Like it's a Jedi who has fallen away from the Order, and they stumble upon the Sith, who are like evil. And we show that ideology. We show why there is a balance to the Force. It just feels very one-sided.
Oh, okay, yeah. Then if you wanted, I thought you meant. I was thinking like more like a TV show. There's like an A plot and a plot and a B plot. A plot is obviously the good side, and the B plot like bad side. If you want a show entirely of just B plot,
Yes.
just red, black, Sith,
Yes.
fucking
There needs to be balance because I just feel like
Korriban.
I just feel like it's making the Sith look like generic fucking bad guys. Like cannon fodder for the fucking Jedi to roll in with their lightsabers and kill them, as opposed to giving them some semblance of character.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think it makes them feel one note, and we definitely live in an era now where, especially with the MCU, that we definitely taught an audience of the audience don't like bad guys just being bad for badness sake.
Yeah.
Like when a character has like they don't see themselves as a villain and all that stuff. and definitely a lot of movies have taken that like writing and yeah, let's just show why not. So that's a good point. I don't think Disney would do an entire show of just straight up the Sith because I think some
Exactly.
people would.
That's what I'm
Well,
trying to get at.
I,
It's
that's
like
kind of evil, Joe. I mean,
it's
let's make an
not.
entire show about terrorists.
I
So let's come out. Wait,
I
like
think that's compelling. I think that's compelling storytelling. You know why I say
there
that? You
is.
know why I say that?
They,
You know why I say that?
yeah.
In that trailer, when they're like in the woods or whatever, and they hear the red lightsaber turn on or whatever, you see the red lightsaber or whatever.
Yeah.
I felt nothing. I felt fucking nothing. You understand what that is? Like this is supposed to be the first Sith, and I feel fucking nothing, bro.
Not the first Sith, but I know what you mean. A first Sith in a very long time.
Yeah, exactly. To the point where they're like, "What is that?" I
Yeah.
felt fucking nothing, and that's because they don't want to talk about that other side of the Force. Come on, guys.
Yeah, they have done a couple weeks. I think it was a couple days ago. Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah.
They told the story of Ahsoka. Oh no, they told the story of Count Dooku and one with Ahsoka. They just came out with a new trailer called Tales of the Empire, and it tells the origin story of I forgot her name, but the sister witch woman from Ahsoka with the green fire and the sword and her sisters.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they just came out with a trailer for her animated Tales of the Empire and why she, why she's who she is and evil. So, granted, it's a short and in its animation, like it's not that they've played in that sandbox, but a whole live action show of the Sith is hard to pitch. But it's weird. When I first saw that red lightsaber, I did feel something. Mostly because I just know that the High Republic takes place in an era where there is no Sith. It's just Jedi's and taking care of bad people and Vikings and shit like that. So it's Junkers. So then seeing a red lightsaber in this trailer, I was like, whoa, they're back. But you're right. They gotta do something though for me to be like, why are they back in a really compelling way? You gonna watch the show?
Oh no, I'm excited. I'm gonna watch it. It's just one of those things that I'm like, I'm just I don't know where Disney like I know why they're like people are feeling sort of Star Wars fatigue. And it's that. It's just you can only cater to that fan base for so long before they start going and watching something else. I think the way you bring them back in is by telling a compelling story about the villains and why they're villains. But yeah, I'll watch it.
Hopefully we'll get that.
Yeah.
I do hope that we'll get like a dark, a way bigger side of the dark side. Solid trailer.
All right, so that brings us up to our next topic. I had to binge watch the last 4 episodes, but let's talk about Invincible season 2.
Oh yeah, it just finished up.
Yes.
That just finished up this week. So whoever's listening to this can figure out the timeline.
Oh yeah, are we going spoilers with this? I feel like we should probably go spoilers with this.
Yeah. Big spoiler alert for Invincible season 2 if anyone's listening.
You know what? I dug this season. I just think this season is incredibly mid. Watching this season made me wish I was watching season 1. And there's flashbacks of season 1 where I'm like, Christ, man, that fucking first season was incredible. And I thought we were going to get more of that this season, but it was, and I get it. Like it's the storytelling between, what's his name? Mark?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mark and his girlfriend. Like it's there, but every time they harken back to that, I was like, man, I just don't, can we move this on? Except it's hard because it's like that scene where the Viltrumite comes down and, okay, heavy spoilers. If you're still listening, I'm sorry. But that scene where the Viltrumite grabs his girlfriend and fucking blows her brains out, that shit was crazy, right? Okay. For whoever was listening and didn't watch it, they'd probably like, what the fuck? That scene was fucking, you don't get that scene unless you build like a strong relationship with his girlfriend. But then again, it just felt very discombobulated is the word I would say.
Yeah, I agree. I felt the same way that you felt. Very mid-season. Not that bad. Some people out there, and they're like, this is just shitty ass. I'm like, no. It's just not as compelling as season 1. And I get it, because come on, season 1 is awesome. One of the main things I think why season 1 was so awesome is because it had a hook. Because you were hooked onto every episode because of why Nolan killed the Guardians. Season 2 doesn't have that. Season 2 is just like flowing, just going through the thingy. And I get it because if you notice, like everyone's grieving in the show. Mark is grieving, his mom is grieving, Amber feels like she's feeling apart from their relationship. Even Rexplode, which had a fucking badass scene where they were taking down the lizard squad or whatever they're called, and he gets shot in the head, And he gets back up. He's like, "You just fucking shoot me in the head and everything." Even he's dealing with the fact of how he treated his team and stuff like that. And then even Immortal and Duplicate, whatever, which I
Yeah.
was like, that was extremely left field. Sure, I guess. And then the relationship with Monster Girl and Robot, everyone just like literally everyone's going through some thing. I'm not saying like obviously characters can be written to have like drama and stuff like that, but it's not like they're all fighting or anything like that. It's just very like internally thing. And I think that's the whole point of the season. Is like
That's a good
even
point
Nolan,
that you brought up with
even Nolan's in space and he's I feel guilty what I do to people.
which is that's gonna be a tough sell for me because
No, yeah, of course, because it's not fucking someone punching shit. Come on, you want the action and all that stuff. Eh,
oh, no, I'm not talking
just
about
do it
that. I'm talking
alone.
about like Nolan or trying to redeem Nolan in any way, shape, or form. I love,
Oh,
yeah,
right,
I
right.
love his character, but he has fallen into the territory of Kylo Ren, where it's no, what you did was irredeemable. Like that's gonna be insanely hard to try and make me give a fuck about this character. Not give a fuck. I like Nolan's character. It's just you're a bad guy in my eyes, no matter what. But that was a really good point that you brought up about the first season having a hook. Every episode felt like, why did he do that to the Guardians? Why? Why? Every episode, and then you
Mystery.
get to the ending, and you're like, oh, he did. There is no reason. Like he's just evil.
Yeah, but
I
I know
was
what you mean.
when I was watching
Like
season one, I was always under the impression that there was something. Like I was rolling my eyes through season one because I was like, okay, like what's the hook here? Like he's clearly like it's got to be like some brain or something in his brain or some bad guy has infiltrated
oh, you
his
thought it was like some mind
brain.
control or some
Yeah, it's
shit.
got to be
Yeah, I know
some
what you mean.
mind control shit. That was probably the most refreshing thing I've ever fucking as I was watching it. That this dude was like, no, you don't get it. We're better than these people. We're better than humans. We in his perspective, he's not the bad guy. He's no.
Yeah,
I'm here for a fraction of a second compared to what I've been through my entire life. I'm like that is fucking awesome. Like I've never seen or
yeah, and
read a
then
story like that,
I agree. Seeing him the way he's portrayed in season one, and then seeing him in season two, and he's like, I went to this alien planet and met a woman and had a kid, and I can understand also him roaming space for such a long time where he was gonna fly into a black hole for Christ's sakes. It I think there's a story that yeah you could definitely tell a story of Nolan being like redeemed by feeling his actions are like okay the man that was a little too far. It does feel a little too rushed though with the like couple I think it was like 2 episodes maybe, and which is funny because I feel like season two is messy too. I feel like we're jumping all over the place. But I'm like, oh man, like
yeah. And that's the thing.
and I get it. It's a comic book, you know. There's a lot of things bouncing around, and I just don't. Yeah, it's just
Yeah, for me, the scene with where he doesn't kill his son and he just flies off.
oh, like
Yeah,
on season one.
in season one, yeah, it's yeah, like of course, like he everything that Nolan has gone through and him feeling bad for killing so many people works. It's just that we should have got more of that. Like you said, it's only been 2 episodes where we're seeing that, and then all of a sudden he's grieving and he has a family and all that stuff. It's just and the thing with
And a lot of it's
the
off screen too. I was like, what the?
yeah, and the thing with the multiverse bad guy,
Okay, that's what I wanted to bring up. That was like boring as shit. That was supposed to be their hook. That was supposed to be what you watch every episode because there's a guy who's going to the multiverse and he's gonna get his revenge on thingy, and it lasts for fucking 5 minutes at the end of the episode of the season finale. I get it why storytelling and stuff like that because Mark the entire arc of Mark is I'm not my father, and then he beats this guy to a pudding. Like I get that part, but man, they beat him up in a couple of seconds, not a couple of seconds, but they beat him up. At least it was cool, and there was a lot of tension with the mom and
yeah,
like fucking I'm
that
waiting for
scene
something,
with
right?
yeah,
But it was so over, and I remember just being like, was that it? That was the whole build up for this character? I don't know. I feel like they dropped the
yeah,
ball with it.
it definitely. By the last episode when they brought him when they show the previously on Invincible and they showed him, I was like, oh my god, I completely forgot that happened. I was like, what? Oh my! And then they showed like flashbacks of like how he turned into the fact that he saved Mark. I was like, what? I don't even remember that, bro. I don't even remember him doing that.
And then also he's sorry to go on a tangent, but then he's making Mark go through portals at the end or whatever, and going to different dimensions, sending him back. He even says during the fight though, he wasn't sending him anywhere dangerous because he wanted to beat him up like himself or some
Personally.
shit. But yeah, personally, but you're doing the scene has so much tension in the scene and everything about his mom and thing, right? But then they're cutting away to, which is awesome though. But they're cutting away to like gag universes where he meets Agent Spider, which is awesome, the Spider Man, and he meets Batman, and there's other funny zombie worlds and everything, which is just cool and all that stuff. It's like, yeah, but you're doing this in a scene where all I'm thinking about is you're in another universe and the bad guys with your mom and your half brother right now. What is going on back in the planet? And it's just like him wandering around the kitchen and stuff like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is weird. This is weird.
It is actually
Uh,
fitting for a season that feels very like again
Messy.
messy for that ending to happen because that ending was very messy. Like you said,
And
the threat of him in by himself with his mother and brother, and then those scenes were awesome. Like where he runs into Batman, and there's a scene where he comes out of a portal with the Fortnite gun. That was awesome.
oh yeah, I saw that on Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah, those scenes are great, but it just what was the point? I just don't understand. And like the scene I get like the scene that I think was the most we need to hit this. If I were writing a show, this has to be the most impactful moment was when he beats the living shit out of this guy and literally gets his first kill. He turns into a Viltrumite, quote unquote. I don't feel like they hit that mark. Pun. I don't feel like they hit that.
And
And
also, I'm more worried about him being stranded on a different timeline.
yeah, a different
Dimension.
timeline. And I'm like, and he's grieving. And I think the reason it doesn't work is because I don't care about this character. This character, the bad guy I'm talking about, the bad guy feels like Jamie Foxx in Amazing Spider-Man 2, where I'm mad at you because I was ugly. It's like, bro, like, you're going to pick a,
Oh no, not because he's ugly. Oh, you mean because of the
yeah,
action?
he's like, you
Oh,
turned
you're
me
right.
into this. It's like, bro, what are you talking about, bro? Like, you picked a fight with the only good Mark. You picked a fight. There's a billion different Invincibles who you could have fucked with and fought, but you picked the one that's the good guy. And I know as I'm saying these words, they sound awesome, and I don't feel that.
It wasn't executed.
It wasn't executed. Even though as I'm saying it, I'm like, that sounds cool if it was executed, you know? It wasn't a terrible season.
I'm still excited. I'm still excited for season 3.
Yeah.
And hopefully, season 3 has to do a lot more with Nolan. I want to see a lot more with Nolan and Omni Man.
And
Maybe because I want to see if they are trying to do this redemption arc kind of thing. I want to see a lot with Nolan. There.
yeah. And I love Alan. I love Alan the alien. Like
Oh, Alan,
he's
Alan
great.
Allen's awesome.
Yeah.
But something else that also happened last month, creator of Dragon Ball Z and Dr. Slump and the artist for many other manga, Akira Toriyama, passed away at the age of 68. I believe it was blood clots. And everyone doesn't
Hematomas,
know.
something like that.
Yeah, yeah. It was so sudden. This was such a sudden passing. For anyone who doesn't know, me and Joe, huge Dragon Ball fans. From Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, GT, Super, like all of it. Huge fans from the games. And I know Akira Toriyama, he's created way more than just Dragon Ball. His portfolio is like Dr. Slump and the artist for Dragon Quest and so many other things. But he definitely impacted our lives in a huge way. I know it impacted your life a lot, Joe.
Yeah, this is super unfortunate. He died so young. That's the tragedy of it. 68 is not a time. You're he had so much more to give. And for me, it's he's one of those creators that it's hard to wrap your head around it because he doesn't do a lot of publicity. It's a character that even the voice actors have no ties to because he was so private. And it's beautiful in a weird sort of way because it's we can only reflect our hurt based off his work. We don't know the
Well,
guy. So yeah, it's like his work, he's the ultimate example of let the work do the talking. And yeah, it's just so man, what an insane loss. What an insane loss. Too early. Way too early.
yeah. He's a legend, though. This guy, Kitayama, is just will forever be a legend. And it was so refreshing. It was so heartwarming to see that when he passed away, to see so many creative people in the field of actors and voice actors and people who give have only to thank him for giving them a career, paying the respect to Akira Toriyama and his work and thanking him, like the creator of Naruto giving his condolences, and the creator of One Piece, Toonami, and
Yeah, for me, like I said, he is the greatest artist to ever put pen to paper. Like the worlds that he created, the legacy that he left behind is gonna stand the test of time. We're still getting more Dragon Ball Z content. You know what I'm saying? Like me as a kid, I grew up my first like journey into the art world was drawing Dragon Ball Z characters. Like I had no idea how to draw, and a friend of mine was like, "Hey, draw Dragon Ball Z." And so I just you draw what you know, and I love Dragon Ball Z when I was like in second grade, and I was just drawing. Like they look so cool. It was during the Saiyan saga, so it was like, man, these characters you never seen any. And so that's another thing. It's
someone who doesn't know context, Joe's an animator.
yeah, and my art career started because of Toriyama's work in Dragon Ball and his and the worlds that he created.
To bring more lightheartedness to it, I want to talk about how Dragon Ball has affected us because we're such huge Dragon Ball fans, and how his work has changed us a lot. And like you already said, that when you it changed your life, where that's how you started drawing and everything.
Yeah,
We grew up in the '90s watching it, like a lot of people in the West, on Toonami with the Funimation dub, and every night, on Cartoon Network. Watching Dragon Ball was like we were so used to watching cartoons that being serialized and wacky and funny, and then you just open this world into Toonami where they had all this adult, mature cartoon stuff. Like it was so badass.
yeah. Because the thing is that Dragon Ball introduced so many people into anime here in the West. It was the gateway drug. Like I love Dragon Ball so much that I couldn't even get into other animes. Like it was just like I just wanted Dragon Ball. Like I would watch Naruto and I'd be like, No, this isn't it." But Dragon Ball Z was just like, "Fuck, this is amazing." I truly think he is the greatest manga artist of all time. Like he's the king. Like my art style is completely dedicated to how he drew Goku as a kid. Like that chibi art style, like you can see it
Oh
in the
right,
you can see it in the thumbnails. Like my aesthetic is geared more towards that chibi. Love the way he
Dragon
drew,
Ball.
yeah, Dragon Ball style of Goku with the fat chubby arms, and but he's
Hmm.
like somehow super fit, and it's just
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. And I love sometimes I love Dragon Ball more than I love Dragon Ball Z. Not in terms of story, but just art aesthetic. Like I just love the way Dragon Ball looks. Like Dragon Ball to me looks like like and I think that's the reason why Toriyama always wanted to go back to Kid Goku was because he wants to go back to that time where he was drawing these. He likes drawing those characters as kid forms because it's fun. It's way more fun to draw chibis. I don't know what it is. It's just that there's a
Hmm.
cuteness aspect of it, and yeah,
Well,
my entire
the
thing
fun
is because of that.
one funny thing though is that he had a hard time drawing Kid Goku fighting because the characters were normally proportioned, but he was like chibi and thingy, right?
Yeah.
That's why he changed them,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. When he aged them up.
right? Yeah, which was a that doesn't normally happen in the middle of a show where he just aged them up, right? And the reason he did that, and also not in just in the show, in the manga, he did that because it was he just found it easier to draw Goku if he was like, but for fight scenes and everything to have shit connect and everything,
Yeah.
And you can just tell that's one of my favorite things about Kiriyama is he's just gonna do his thing, bro. Like
Yeah.
Kiriyama's always just gonna do his thing and be like, listen, this is funny and wacky and all that stuff. Now I'm gonna do serious shit. It's like, wait a minute, what? It's like I thought this was like a wacky kind of fun. Look for the Dragon Balls, Emperor Pilaf, and all this stuff.
Yeah.
No, now we're getting like threats. Now it's becoming like a martial arts show where it's like
Yeah. Like
got
I don't know
big threat coming in.
how confirmed this is. I think I read this a long time ago, but I heard that in the original Dragon Ball run when he was writing the mangas, and it started off as him as Goku and Bulma just going off and finding the Dragon Balls. That the mangas weren't selling that or something like that. It wasn't until he focused on the world tournament that people started like really this is Dragon Ball.
That is what happened. I don't know about the selling part, but I do know that when he changed focus from Dragon Ball being adventures with the Pilaf Guru and wacky and stuff, right? Where he grounded it into like very one to one martial arts. Because I don't know if that was a editor edition or was just straight up good to be like, I'm gonna change it now.
Yeah.
But that's when he changed it. Like for example, that's why I love. I don't care what anyone says. I love General Tao,
Oh yeah,
Mercenary Tao.
Mercenary Tao.
Mercenary Tao was Akira Toriyama's first time making a super villain, a villain that you're watching throughout the show that hasn't met with Goku or anything, right? And he's bodying everybody.
Yeah,
Goku, Kid Goku's doing his own thing and everything. So you can't wait to see these two characters like, oh, like, can Goku take him out, right? It's his testing of what we're gonna be seeing with everyone Goku's gonna be interacting with and Z and whatever onward, you know. So I love that he changed it up. He changed that up and
yeah,
started making it like more. Because then we got we got TN and then we got Demon King Piccolo and shit. Like
yeah. Johnny Chung,
so refreshing.
right? Is it Jackie Chung?
Yeah,
Fantastic. That's one of my. That's my
yeah.
favorite moment in Dragon Ball. Is where he's fighting Master Roshi.
That's your favorite fight.
Yeah, it was just so cool.
I know Akira Toriyama isn't perfect. He's famously known for forgetting a lot of characters. Yeah, completely forgot about Launch in Dragon Ball, and that's why she doesn't show up in Z.
Yeah,
There's a lot of other things. He was known to be a discovery writer. He had like bullet points of where he wanted the story to go, but not like it was all fleshed out kind of thing. He was just making it up as he goes, but not in a lazy kind of like I don't know what I'm doing. He like kind of knows where it's going, but let's see. And he still nailed it. He still knew exactly how to make characters have an arc and stuff like that.
yeah.
Very, it's a genius.
I'm telling you, like Z for a lot of millennials, it's the thing that binds us. It's funny because I'm always like, what do kids even talk about now? Like, what kid who is in third grade right now, what do you talk about? Is this something off YouTube? What is the thing that, because I remember in third grade, I would go to school, and if you weren't talking about Dragon Ball Z, no one's talking to you, kid. You know what I'm saying? This is third grade. If you're not up to date with Dragon Ball Z, we can't talk to you, kid.
They're probably talking about other animes.
Man, I hope so. But it was a thing. It was like you go home, you watch Dragon Ball, you come back, you go to school, you talk about Dragon Ball, it repeats. And it was that good.
It
And
was that's so true. It was our introduction to. I know it sounds obvious, but like it was. It's like what you go through now with popular shows on streaming services like Netflix and all that stuff. The little like the water cooler effect of you go to the thing and you talk to people about a show, and it's so common now with big shows on television too. Right? It was our first one for kids to have in the '90s to be like going to school the next day and be like, we watched the next thing.
yeah.
So cool that everyone was keeping up with
Did
one
you see
singular show.
Goku turn Super Saiyan, bro? Like, what?
Oh my
And
god!
the introduction
I
to
mean,
transformations. Like, I've never seen anything like it.
so true.
For me, the most impactful moment in Dragon Ball Z, because I watched Dragon Ball Z first, obviously, and then I went back to watch Dragon Ball because I was in love with Dragon Ball Z and I wanted to see the origins of Goku. And that's where I fell in love with Dragon Ball first. But anyway, the most impactful moment from the entire series for me in Dragon Ball Z was Vegeta. And Vegeta's not even like my favorite character. It was just, it was my introduction to storytelling. And as a kid, it just blew my fucking brain that I saw a villain turn into a good guy before my eyes. And I remember as a kid being like, you could do that? You can make me forget that he's the bad guy? How did you do that? But I remember even as a kid seeing the Frieza saga and seeing Vegeta, it wasn't he wasn't a good guy. Like it wasn't a good guy. It was just like
I know
but
what you mean. Like,
it's
he
insane.
wasn't part of the cast yet.
Yeah, but it was insane. Like now I think about it, I'm like, man, he was planting the seeds of like redemption. And it wasn't even shoehorned or beaten over the head with. It was just like, and then when he comes back and he's like part of the cast, it's like, fuck you, like that. In terms of storytelling, as a kid, I was like, fuck, that was incredible.
I was gonna say my impactful moment of Dragon Ball, where I was just watching Dragon Ball, like it was awesome, right? People fighting each other and action packed and martial arts and stuff. You know, like I was having a great time. I was just loving the characters and the anime art styles and the techniques of them saying the name of the technique and doing it. It's my introduction to anime. I was like, yo, my really big impactful kind of thing was, yeah, it's gonna sound obvious, but it really was when Goku. It's the most impactful moment in all of anime ever. Is Goku going Super Saiyan, and not only was that really cool to see and all that stuff, right? But my big moment that I took away from that, I was like, I remember being a kid, being like, whoa, because I've never seen something like this. Was seeing Goku fighting someone that he made friends with Vegeta, he made friends with Piccolo, he made friends with Tien and all that stuff, right? He's fighting someone that's no, there's not saving this person, and the way he's going to take them down is their ego. I was so used to watching Superman and Spider Man and all these other characters I grew up with. Like, we have to stop the bad guy, and then they beat him up and they put him in jail and blah blah whatever, right? It was so cool to see a character be like, I want you to be at your best. I want you to go all out. I want you to be at 100%, and I'm gonna go 100% and show you that I'm better at. I'm gonna beat you up, but I'm not gonna kill you, or I'm not gonna, not like the moral aspect of it. Just being like, I want to take down Frieza's ego and just show you I bodied you, and now I'm gonna go home. It was so, I was so mind blown as a kid seeing that, being like, why isn't he stopping him or anything? That's not the point. The point was like,
Yeah, dude.
he cut Frieza in half. Frieza's humiliated, and Goku's like, I'm tired. I'm gonna go home. And I remember being like, what? It was so cool to see that kind of storytelling.
I could totally see like you as a kid being like, wait, you're not gonna kill him?
Yeah,
That's
but
so
not in the
crazy.
aspect of,
yeah, I know what you
not
mean.
in the aspect of he's so honorable, heroic.
No,
that's
no,
not
no,
even.
that's not even.
He thinks about that, but he's like the real issue, the real underlying. It's so brilliant,
Man. And this is the thing I say. A lot of people say that Dragon Ball Z it's a very kiddish show, very simple plots. Someone comes in and becomes stronger, and then Goku has to come back and fight. It's the intricacy of it. Is these moments in the show that I think are more deeply layered than people give it credit for. Like you said, like that Goku sparing Frieza. There's moments in this show that are in the show with Majin Vegeta sacrificing himself. Like things in this show that are just like so completely fucking earned.
Yeah, and again with Akira Toriyama, like I know we said he's a discovery writer, but man, he find ways to go full circle with a character or harken back and relate to other things. I was like, wow. One that I was like, wow, I've never made that connection. Is in the future Trunks in the Cell Saga, Kid Trunks, his mentor is Gohan, and that's future Gohan. You remember that's how he turned Super Saiyan and everything, right?
Yeah.
That's future Trunks as a kid, and his mentor is future Gohan, right? Future Gohan gets his arm cut off, and he has the one arm kind of thing, and then he dies, and then Kid Trunks is all mad, and he goes Super Saiyan for the first time. That's the trigger that makes him go Super Saiyan, right? That future Trunks goes, to the past, and the whole Cell Saga and all that stuff, right? But the saga, the entire Cell Saga ends with Teen Gohan, and Teen Gohan gets his arm blown up and kills Cell with the one-handed Kamehameha, the father son, because of the trigger of like,
shit.
I didn't even think of that. That's like crazy connection. I was like, wow, it still goes back to Gohan.
The
like,
intricacies of that layer of storytelling. Like I can't follow people when they disparage Dragon Ball Z this way, because it just feels like you're not watching it. This is the thing is, Akira Toriyama unfortunately passing away. Like he has so much things lined up for us, which is fucking awesome. What's it called? Dragon Ball Daima?
Daima, yeah.
Yeah. He's still giving us content. I can't wait to watch Daima.
Someone pointed out?
Yeah.
You know what I pointed out? And then some people, I was like, that's, oh my God. It's crazy that he passed just right now, in where just recently the Dragon Ball Super Superhero just ended. And in Dragon Ball Super Superhero, they've given us two things that we've been asking for years. And Akira Toriyama had got to be part of that. Was Piccolo getting like stronger and a new form, but like we want Piccolo to get stronger and be up to par. And Akira Toriyama gave him a new form called Orange Piccolo. Not the best name, but that's Akira Toriyama. He just loves his colors.
Yeah.
And he called him Orange Piccolo, and then he gave Gohan a new form. Something people have been asking for years, and his own form and its original, right? Which is fantastic. That it's coming from Akira Toriyama. It's not like some like thingy, right? Then the manga also ends, but like literally last month's manga is the ending of the manga. It wasn't like it was planned or anything. Like they rushed it. No, it was just perfectly timed. That right now where the manga ended is where Akira Toriyama had passed away. So I'm just trying to say in the sense of like it's so cool to see that we're getting stuff from Akira Toriyama when he was around that feels like stuff that we would have gotten after he would have been gone, that would have felt fan servicey.
Yeah.
So
that everything that we're getting now is a product of his vision.
Yes, and it's so refreshing to see that we're obviously beginning Dragon Ball content in the future, and I'm worried about. I was. It would have been worrisome to see in the future very fan servicey, fan requested stuff like Gohan getting a new form, Piccolo getting a new form, fucking I
Yeah,
don't know,
because then you gotta,
Broly now
yeah,
Broly's added to the canon, right?
yeah.
And it all feels okay. This is only right. It's so nice that we got in an era of Akira Toriyama's input with Gohan, Piccolo, Broly, Jiren, Hit, like stuff where he's like Ultra
Isn't
Instinct. His last form, his last thing for Goku was Ultra Instinct. So it's so cool to get his like idea on this and not some other person or some studio's version or something like that. I'm like, it's so
that's
refreshing
a
that we got.
really good point. That's a really good point because yeah, it could get it. It could this could be the very commercialized because it's so fucking popular. And when something's this popular, people love to get their greedy hands on it and start throwing in forms and start throwing in. It's really cool that Toriyama was like, no, this is what I want, you know?
Yeah, this is my Bardock. This is
Yeah.
my Broly. This is my Gohan form. This I'm like, yes. And now he's got a new show. He started a new show that was like, I know he's not entirely him, but he wrote the story for the first time he's ever. Daima is his first project that he's been solely has so much. He's worked with so much with that, of a Dragon Ball project since like fucking Battle of Gods, I think it was. No, since like I think Resurrection F made. But with this Daima show, he did the character designs, he wrote the script, the bullet points. Like it is entirely 80% of Toriyama on this. This is what his idea, super canon. And unfortunately, he passed. Obviously, with his passing, we don't know where the show is gonna go. But it's so nice to have at least one more project for him where he's like, I'm doing Kid Goku
Yeah.
again. I'm celebrating 40 years of Dragon Ball with a new show, new animation, and fucking so cool.
And we're going back to Dragon Ball, baby. Love it, man. Hell yeah. Please. It's just, it's the most bittersweet passing that I've ever, like, it hit, bro. It really hit.
One more last thing before we go, Joe. Who's your favorite character from Dragon Ball and why?
Go Tanks.
Go Tanks. The Fusion?
Yeah.
Really? Wow, I don't hear that pick a lot. Why is that?
Yeah, because it's Goku, it's Goten and Trunks. So I get the best of both worlds. I fucking love it. And they're just so fucking cocky. I love this. And
It's
Super
so
Saiyan
good.
3 and my favorite outfit with that
Oh,
vest. God. And it's a kid
Yeah, it's so
version.
true.
I'm like
Yeah, it's like they're
everything that I
kids, they're
love.
s-
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. Wow, yeah, you're so true. It nails everything that's up your alley. It's like they're like the cocky kid version of a Super Saiyan 3, and they're naming their moves. They're having a blast naming. It's like a
Yeah.
super parody version of a Dragon Ball character. You know,
Yeah.
just having fun with it. Yeah,
So
that's so
fun.
true.
So fun.
Oh, what the hell? That's so true. I don't hear Gotenks that much. I know he's popular, but like not that much. Broly. Broly's
Yeah.
always been my all-time favorite character ever since I was a kid. But it's been since I was a kid. I love the giant hulking version of a character kind of thing. Someone losing their power, like control. Obviously, I like that. But I'm loving this new one. This new one that kind of Broly coming out like this Tarzan kind of
Yeah.
doesn't know his way kind of thing. We haven't gotten much of it yet, but man, there's so much potential with this new Broly that I'm like, please, like,
He's the legendary
I like-
Super Saiyan.
that's so cool.
So
cool.
good.
It would never change. Obviously, they literally made a new Broly because Broly was so popular. So I'm not gonna change my answer. I always love Broly. But Akira Toriyama, rest in peace. Thank you. You are a legend.
Yeah. And your legacy will live on forever, man. We're students of Toriyama. Just like Roshi
Facts.
was to Goku. I trained in the house of Toriyama. And for a lot of millennial generation, like that was our dude, man. Rest in peace, my dog.
Rest in peace, Sensei. Thanks for listening, everybody. That'll do it for this episode of Ready 2000 Podcast.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys. We're going to be back next week with some crazier topics and more lighthearted, I suppose.